Welcome back, Patriots. Welcome to Sons of Liberty 1773. I'm your host, Bill Bailey. So imagine, wouldn't we all love like this magical gold charge card that we all have, and we can just go buy whatever the hell we want, spread the money around the world, and know that we don't have to pay for it. Everybody else in America needs to pay the bill, but we don't have to. Just isn't right, is it? But that's what they're doing to us in Washington. It's a criminal regime. So ripping off America, $1.85 trillion omnibus bill, 4,155 pages of theft, truly a spending nightmare. Omnibus, definition, pertaining to, including, or dealing with numerous objects or items at once. So they've all got their wish list of spending. No longer going to be a wish list. They're going to get it in this spending nightmare. And I'm going to share some of the stuff that's in it. It's just going to piss you off. But we're already dealing with we're not hyperinflation yet, but high inflation. It may go hyper. I think it will. If they keep doing this, it will. So they're going to inflate our currency by another 1.85 trillion. They don't have this money. They're going to print it. They're going to write an IOU. Actually, they're going to print it and they're going to give us the bill for it. And I don't agree with any of this spending. Did they ask you? So five, and there's more. When I get into the woke stuff that the money's going to, you will shoot blood out of your eyes. 5 eye-popping spending items in the, it's actually over 1.8 trillion omnibus bill. The bill contains 858 billion in defense spending and 772.5 billion in non-defense discretionary spending. The release of the bill, which spans 4,155 pages, comes after negotiations between Senate Republicans and House and Senate Democrats, the rhinos, to stave off some government funding running out. Lawmakers have until the end of the week to pass the proposed legislation. Some lawmakers voiced complaints about the turnaround time to read the bill that contains 858 billion in defense spending, 772.5 in non-defense discretionary spending. Republican North Carolina Rep. Dan Bishop pointed to certain provisions of the bill in a lengthy Twitter thread in the afternoon, calling them egregious indeed. One provision of the bill states that not less than 575 million should be made available for family planning, reproductive health, including in areas where population growth threatens biodiversity or endangered species. So 575 million for that. In another section, the behemoth bill requires 410 million to remain available to reimburse Jordan, Lebanon, Egypt, Tunisia, and Oman for enhanced border security. At least 150 million of that must go to Jordan, according to the bill. But let's not spend any money on the southern border in America. Let's go spend it on foreign countries. Our country's so corrupt and broken, it's disgusting. About 3 million goes toward the pollinator-friendly practices on roadsides and highway right-of-way programs, according to the bill. So this would be like planting certain types of flora or implementing certain mowing strategies, because it's important to have to promote pollinating-friendly practices on the roadsides of America, and that was only $3 million. Additionally, the bill makes available $65 million for necessary expenses associated with the restoration of Pacific salmon populations. One earmark included in the spending bill asked for $3.6 million for a project called Michelle Obama Trail in Georgia. Nancy Pelosi, these ones here will piss you off. 12 woke earmarks in omnibus spending bill. There's Nancy Pelosi all giddy, getting ready to go get a gallon of her Haagen-Dazs ice cream and chase it with 2/5 of Jack Daniels. So here's what's in it, folks. $1.2 million for LGBTQIA in Pride Centers and another $1.2 million for support services for DACA recipients, aka helping illegal aliens with taxpayer funds at San Diego Community College. $477,000 for the Equity Institute in Rhode Island to indoctrinate teachers with anti-racism virtual labs. $1 million for Zora House in Ohio, a co-working and community space for women and gender expansive people, people of color. $3 million for the American LGBTQ and Museum in New York City. $3.6 million, I mentioned this, for a Michelle Obama trail in Georgia. $750,000 for LGBT and gender nonconforming housing in Albany, New York. $2 million for the Great Blacks in Wax Museum in Baltimore. $856,000 for an LGBT center in New York. $750,000 for the Trans-Latin Coalition to provide workforce development programs and support services for transgender and gender nonconforming and intersex TGI immigrant women in Los Angeles. $2 million for MLK Labor in Washington, an affiliate of the AFL-CIO that expelled Seattle police officers from union ranks. $956,000 for the Equity Incubator at the University of Shady Grove in Maryland. $791,200 for Equity Energy Resilience and EV Infrastructure in Sonoma, California. That's just some of the garbage in the bill. Here's some other stuff too I'll share, folks. So the big part of this bill is to keep funding their war so that the new Congress with the America First Patriots can't starve them of the money and try to end the war, because they want to drag America into World War III. So the package includes $858 billion in defense spending. Ukraine aid. The funding bill includes more than $40 billion for Ukraine aid, higher than what the White House requested last month. The jump comes as they have been concerned about how such funding would fare next year in a GOP-led House where some conservatives have become critical of the aid. Yeah, no shit. So Mitch and the warmongers are pre-funding the war. So they're giving Nancy Pelosi the spending gavel for another year before she loses her gavel. Just disgusting. Mitch McConnell's leading the charge on this. The news also comes days after the Pentagon announced plans for the country to expand military training for Ukrainian troops in Germany. We will expand U.S.-led training for the Ukrainian armed forces to include joint maneuvers and combined arms operation training while building upon the specialized equipment training, Patriot missile batters, that we're already providing to the Ukrainians. Pentagon Press Secretary Brigadier General Pat Ryder said. This is nice. Look at this is a funding bill, folks, right? Funding. But yet, Electoral Count Act reform is in the bill, in the Omnibus bill. Senate Majority Leaders Charles Schumer, Communist New York, had said prior to the package release that he expected the Electoral Count Reform Act to make an appearance. The measure would reform the 1887 Electoral Count Act to clarify the vice president cannot overturn election results when Congress counts electoral college votes and raise the number of members necessary to raise the objections to a state's electors. Yeah. So where's the debt clock today? Well, we're at 31,447,000,000, upper left-hand corner, folks. 31,447,607,000,000, and then you can't read the digits because they're spinning too quick. But the real number is hidden down here at the middle, second box over from the bottom right. Unfunded U.S. liabilities, $173 trillion This country is bankrupt. It's been bankrupt for a long time. And every fiat currency that has ever been in the world ended the same death. The currency went into hyperinflation and it became worthless. So that's where we are heading as a nation. So let me know what you think about the omnibus spending. Our country's so corrupt. And what we learned with Tucker Carlson's interview with the guy that's seen the remaining documents with JFK, Tucker Carlson said, did our government have something to do with the termination of JFK's life? And he said, yes. He said, our country's not what you think it is. It's all fake. And so that rich Seth or whatever, they got rid of him. And then Nixon, they set him up to get rid of him, and look what they've did to 45. I have no doubt that Ukraine, when I first heard that, Ukraine's laundering operation, because, there's so much conspiratorial crap on the internet. You got to figure out what's right and what's not. Ends up with the FTX or whatever, the crypto king. It's exactly what the Ukraine is. They are just destroying this country. They're living the high life, and they're running the rest of the country into poverty. I think they're leading us into the greatest depression and World War III, very possibly nuclear war. So that's it. I'm going to keep this video short. I promised I would keep videos shorter going forward. So let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. If you like the content of this channel, please subscribe. And it always helps when you give these videos a thumbs up. Comment down below and share them if you want on your other social media. It'll help grow our community and get around the suppression that I'm getting from this platform. I will see you in the next video. God bless everybody.